Welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? Miracles, I guess, still happen now and then. Look into my world. Leave your cares behind. Welcome to my world, built with you in mind. Knock and the door shall be open. Seek and you will find. Ask and you will be given love's peace of mind.
Hey everybody, Songfather here on this beautiful day, Monday, June 3rd. Nice day today, not much for hanging out in the sun, I'll tell you that, but I had a lot of things to do aside from sunning. And so it was only like 70, and then it's going to go into the 40s and 50s tonight. What are you going to do? But June 3rd, this is the first day of some kind of regimented podcast, if that's what you want to call it. Every night at 6 o'clock, or maybe I'll knock it to like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday or something like that. So you don't get tired of me, because it seems to happen in my life. People get tired of me. But then they miss me, but then they don't miss me anymore. But then, whatever. So today, June 3rd, is the third anniversary of the death of Mr. Muhammad Ali. And aside from all the political debates that can go back and forth about serving and not serving, and not being a good citizen or a good American, can't take away that he lived by his word. He followed it to the T, and his talent inside the ring was unprecedented. Nobody could come close, and so of course I'm a little prejudiced. If you saw on my wall today, I had a picture I'm very proud of. I got to spend 3 days and nights with Muhammad and his sister-in-law and his manager Howard Bingham, and he was just he's a cool guy. He was really down to earth, and learning to live with Parkinson's, which was not easy for a guy like him. And so I'll tell you a quick story. So he was up here in New York to receive an award for, athlete of the year or of the century, or a lifetime achievement award. That's what it was. And Leroy Neiman had painted a beautiful picture that was auctioned off and went for like $15,000. And Dick Shot, may he rest in peace, was the MC, and celebrities all over the place. But he sat at the table with his family, and he was a regular kind of guy. But the first night that he was in, it was the night before this elaborate dinner. Cerebral Palsy of Nassau County had a welcome reception for him. They were the sponsors of the whole thing. And so I walked him into the room. It was something like $500 a plate, so it wasn't overly crowded. And so I walked Muhammad into the room, and he was carrying his briefcase, and that's the picture that you see on my wall. And so once everybody got a little, oh my God, it's him, and everybody got relaxed a little bit, Howard Bingham, who was his manager, had called everybody, could everybody come a little bit closer, and, said the usual, Muhammad would like to thank everybody for this, and blah, 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 blah. So he says, a lot of people don't know this, but since Muhammad has been suffering with Parkinson's, he's trying to develop other senses of his body, and he's been working on telekinesis, and that's where you use your mind, to float things and lift things and bend things or whatever. And he said, so with everybody's help, Muhammad would like to do a little demonstration for you. So we made everybody form a circle in the room, and Muhammad was in the middle of it with the briefcase, and he put it down on the ground. And Howard Bingham says, okay, so Muhammad needs all of you to join hands, and he needs you to help him with this. He's going to concentrate. He's going to, stare at that briefcase, and he needs you all to stare at the briefcase and help him lift it off the ground, because right now he can't get it up too high. He can get it up, maybe about that much. That didn't sound right, but I'm talking about the briefcase. And so we all stood in a circle, and Muhammad stood there and got himself ready, and was staring at the briefcase, and staring, and we're all staring, and nothing happens. So he whispers into Howard's ear, and Howard Bingham says, listen, Muhammad said, not everybody is trying hard enough. He can feel it. It needs to be a complete circle, or it's not going to work. And so we all, and grab a little, and just, stare at it harder, concentrate, and you'll see it. He can do it. So we all staring at it. We're staring at this briefcase on the ground harder and harder. And mainly not because I don't think any of us believed in telekinesis, but we believed in Muhammad Ali. So we're staring and staring and staring, and nothing's happening. And then he looks up, Muhammad Ali, and he says, man, you white people will believe anything. He got us good. It's like I said, we really believed it was Muhammad Ali. So if he said he could do it, of course he's going to do it. But it was great. Broke the tension and the ice, and then he went around and did his shadow boxing, and it was just a nice evening. And then the next day we took him on a tour of the center, Cerebral Palsy Center in Nassau County. And righty. So everybody was there, from the directors and even people from upstate New York, where the top people reside of Cerebral Palsy Association. And it was a big thing for them to get to see Muhammad Ali, of course. And it was okay. He didn't go for that. So he kind of grabs me and he says, I want to go in the kitchen. I said, well, I'll get you. What do you want? I want to go in the kitchen. Okay. So after we went through the work centers, and there were all the children and the adults, that are afflicted with cerebral palsy, trying to live a normal life and doing crafts or doing homework. And he went to every one of them and spent time with every one of them. And then we went into the kitchen. And let me tell you, that is when he just was himself. He shadow boxed with everybody that was in the kitchen, everybody that was cooking, everybody that was cleaning dishes or washing the floor, whatever it was. And that's where he was most comfortable. He was not really comfortable around the big wigs and the suits and the ties and everything. So in the picture on my wall, I think I have a red tie on. But the next day, as we were doing all this, I had a Betty Boop tie that somebody had given me. And, it was, I like it. It was a cool tie, sometimes, I don't like to be standard, And we do what we got to do, get him back to the hotel to get him ready for the dinner, and go and pick him up. We all get in the limo, or there was a couple of limos, whatever it is, and go up to Leonard's of Great Neck is where it was held. Wonderful venue. It's been there for like 4,000 years. That place is unbelievable. Still there. And so halfway during the night, as we were sitting down, and who was making speeches and he was eating, somebody went up and asked him for an autograph. Then next thing you know, somebody else. Then next thing you know, there's 5, 10, 20 people online, and it's starting to get a little out of control. So I start to break it up, and he pulls on my suit jacket, and he goes like this. In other words, they're here for my autograph. I'm here for them. And he signed everybody that came up to him. He didn't miss one, and he signed the autograph. At the end of the night, now I wasn't going to see him after that, because then the next day he was on his way to the airport. So Howard Bingham comes up to me, and he said, I have a favor for you, from Muhammad Ali. He would like to, and I'm like, okay, this is it. He's going to give me like a couple of grand for doing because I did it all on the arm. It was just an honor to do that. And I said, yeah, whatever he wants. And he said, he wants your Betty Boop tie. And I was like, what? I mean, now, who would ever think of that? And I said, he wants this tie? Yeah. I said, okay. I took the tie off and I gave it to him. And So everything's, everybody's saying goodbye. We get him off to the limo and get him inside the hotel, and I'm getting ready to go, and they tell me to wait, and he comes down, Howard Bingham comes down, and he gives me a signed boxing glove, signed Muhammad Ali, in exchange for the tie. So, I mean, how can you not love the guy? What I went through with him. It was a cool experience. And so then I wrote a nice poem about him and what he meant to me growing up, and how he's. It was like kind of through his point of view that now he's he's shaking and he's suffering, and he's got the jitters, and sometimes he used to drool out of his mouth and they would go, and that was like a hint to him, a message to just pick up the napkin and wipe your mouth, so we're not to embarrass him in public. But yeah, he handled it with class. What can I say? So that was today, 3 years ago today. He, as I said, Muhammad Ali floated home like a butterfly back to heaven. So also today on June 3rd, if you can believe it or not, today is the day that Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahassee Bridge, and to this day we still don't know what they were throwing, him and Becky Sue, whatever her name was, what they threw off the bridge. And we'd also like to know what that priest was doing, but what are you going to do? And a very obscure date in history on June 3rd is when Elvis Aaron Two-Ace Presley graduated from Humes High School. And, of course, if you don't know the history, then, please just lock yourself in a room somewhere. But he went to drive a truck for an electric company and just wasn't cutting it. He just wasn't him. And he stopped into Sun Studios and he did a song he made for his mother for her birthday. And everybody thinks it was That's All Right, Mama. But the real song that he first did for his mother was about Shep. They had a dog called Shep. And he actually won a singing contest in high school for that song. So, so June 3rd, cool day, June 3rd. Now we can add me to the list. June 3rd is when the Songfather decided to try to start a steady podcast. Wow. And you're here for it, if you could believe it or not. So let me get to my first song before I kind of rant a little bit about the Yankees. And, I have to. It's what I do. And this is a song by Mr. Francis Albert Sinatra that I love deeply. And it's only because it just paints such a beautiful picture. It's about a guy, and you don't really know if he's leaving her or if she left him or if he's just going on a trip, whatever it is. But he's on a train, and, he's just kind of looking out the window, and, he's seeing life going by as he goes by, and all these wonderful little things in nature and cars parked, and he's thinking about her, and he's looking down at the track, as it says in the song, the one leading back to you. Pretty cool song. I like it. So here you go, everybody. Francis Albert Sinatra's wonderful song, I Thought About You. I took a trip on a train, and I thought about you. I passed a shadowy lane, and I thought about you. 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream, a moon shining down in some little town, and with each beam the same old dream. And every stop that we made, oh, I thought about you. And when I pulled down the shade, then I really felt blue. I peeked through the crack, looked down at the track, the one going back to you. And what did I do? I thought about you. You see what I'm saying? Bye-bye. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da. There were 2 or 3 cars parked under the stars, a winding stream. Oh, the moon shining down on some little town, and with each beam, the same old dream. I peeked into the crack, and I thought about you. And I looked down at the track, and I really felt blue. Once you do wrong, pull in the shade, the one that leads back to you. And what did I do? I thought about you. A nice little trip on the train, the Long Island Railroad, maybe it was. Who knows? And I said in the news the other day, Long Island Railroad, and the conductor's, walking down the train doing his thing, and checking tickets or whatever, and some guy got up and punched him in the face and then jumped off at the next, at the stop. I mean, it's crazy. And I'm not going to get it. Once in a while I'm going to have to, because some of the things that are out there in the news today are like really, I don't know. It's just, we're taking everything with a grain of salt and, excuse me. And I saw a comic, I think it was on Facebook, or it might have been Instagram, I don't know. But it was like, and yes, 3 people shot today. And so today's weather is, I mean, that seems to be, I don't know if it's whether we just don't want to deal with it, or I don't know, but we just seem to like be blowing it off. Oh, how many more were killed today? No kidding, really. And, there's a war out on police officers and police women. Well, they're all officers. And that seems to be something that gets the less attention. It's almost like they deserve to be killed. And, there are idiots out there in every fashion of the world, in every part of business and every part of, units where people are supposed to know better. But like I said the other day, it's 99% of them out there are doing the right thing and getting up every day and going and kissing their family goodbye, and nobody knows if they're coming back, including them. And when you add it now to what's going on out there, I mean, they're responding to 911 calls and getting ambushed when they get out of the car, or they pull up on the scene, or what. It's really getting out of hand. And I just, I'm going to leave it at this, but where is the outrage from the community? Because, think what you want. I would like to think that we all appreciate them for the job that they do. I think a lot of us are maybe jaded by what you see on TV, but they're out there. They're out there, 12-hour shifts, driving around the neighborhood. You don't know what is around the corner. You don't know an alarm is going off that you got to go check an alarm. It's a wonderful job that they do, and it's really, when you think about it, so unselfish to go and put yourself out on line for people that you don't know. And so there's going to come a time, hopefully nobody ever has to go through that, but most of us are going to have to go through a time where we're going to need a police officer. And what are they going to do now? They're going to be afraid to respond because they don't know. They're going to have to send out like an armored car or a tank first to make sure they're not going to be jumped or shot at or killed. It's not cool. So we really need to amp up our outrage for what's happening there. And every time somebody is aside from that, just a man, a woman, a child is killed, we need to amp our outrage on that too. And same thing with drunk driving. And I just read, don't hold me to the exact age, but I think it was a 19-year-old guy raped a 12-year-old girl, and she ended up getting pregnant, and the court awarded him joint custody of the child. I just, what? I mean, really, it's that is one of the most brutal and heinous attacks and crimes that you could ever do on another human being. And I don't know. Anyway, so I got off, and I won't do it again, I promise you. But anyway, so that Francis Albert tune, I liked it, and I think as you're listening to it, you could picture it, and just guys going along on the train, never been explained. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody. I didn't know the family personally of Arlo, that beautiful, beautiful dog that disappeared a couple of weeks before Christmas. And, first we thought that he was lost, and then we thought, maybe he got kidnapped, and the family was offering $3,000 reward, no questions asked, no police, no nothing. Just please bring our dog back home. He's part of the family, as all our pets are. And 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or last week, some family in the neighborhood in Staten Island was getting their yard ready for the summer, and when they pulled the cover off the pool, there was Arlo. So, you're always hoping for the best, but what a horrible thing for a family to go through and for Arlo to go through. And then a good friend of mine, Wendy, I call her W, sent me an inbox saying that that I don't know if this will bring you any solace or help you a little bit in dealing with the picturing Arlo in the pool. But they die within seconds, animals, especially dogs, when they can't breathe and when they get water in their lungs. And so he didn't suffer that much. I said, okay, there is some solace in that, but the family's going to be suffering for such a long time because, there were many sightings and, to the community, not just in Staten Island, but everywhere, and which meant people were looking and people were trying, which I thought was wonderful. And you got to follow down every lead, and none of them were Arlo, and now we know why. So I just want to, on behalf of them, and I just want to thank everyone who's out there too, because so many prayers were being said. It was just, it was great. It was great to see that. I wish we had a better ending to that story, but so anyway. All right, real quickly on the Yankees, if you don't mind. We've had our ups and downs with Frazier, and he's really coming to his own this year with spraying the ball around and some nice power hits. But the man does not belong in right field, and I think he would be the first to tell you that. And to keep putting him out there just to use his bat is doing him a great injustice. And, I mean, I have no complaints about where we are as a team, the Yankees, and what they're doing. But as a game, we should have won yesterday and swept the Red Sox. So there's an extra sweetness into the cocktail if you can sweep the Red Sox. And because of a couple of his miscues, we ended up not winning the game and not winning. We won the series, but not sweeping. So sometimes I think Mr. Cashman's got to sit back and let the team in the dugout and let the management in the dugout kind of decide where they want people to go. You could certainly DH him. You could certainly throw him in center field where he's got a little more mobility to go left or right after a foul ball. I'd like to see Gardner back in left field and, just where it makes sense out there because we're getting to the part of the season now where everybody's getting stronger. So they're going to start hitting the ball, and they've been doing their homework, and they're watching our pitching. And so, we gotta make a counter move. So Mr. Frazier, he left without talking to the press, and in baseball, that's a no-no. Whether you pitched a great game or whether you pitched a terrible game or whether you made the error that cost us, it's part of your contract, you have to talk to the press. And he didn't. And then I understand he called somebody up from ESPN, I guess somebody that he knew or was close with, to try to explain something to him. But you can't do that. But we forgive you. You make mistakes. Don't worry about it. Just get out there and do your best. And if you're not used to diving for the ball, don't be a hero, and you let it bounce in front of you. So maybe you don't get the out, but you don't turn what would have been a single into a double and a triple. All right? Any other questions, you call up Uncle Sonny, and I'll help you along. So, all right. Here's the next song I want to do by Mr. Dino Crocetti. And here's another song that it paints a picture, as you're listening, as most of them do. But sometimes some of the songs that we listen to, we just kind of get lost into our own world and how it affects us. And, there's an old saying that all it takes is one song to bring back 1,000 memories. And but this song paints a picture of everybody else having fun, on an evening in Roma, and the guy's saying he's seeing, guys walking down the street with a beautiful girl on their arm, and it's a beautiful night, and such a beautiful night in Roma, and I want to have some of that. Come on. So I hope you enjoy this song too, because it's cool. I like it, and I know you do too. Sing along, won't you? Como bella c'è la luna, brilla strette, strette come tutta bella, passeggiare sotto il cielo di Roma. Down each avenue a brilla, street or strada, you can see him disappearing, do by do, on an evening in Roma. Do they take him for espresso? Yeah, I guess so. On each lover's arm a girl I wish I knew. On an evening in Roma. Though there's grinning and mandolining in sunny Italy, the beginning has just begun when the sun goes down. So please meet me in the plaza near your casa. I am only one and one's much too few. On an evening in Roma, don't know what the country's coming to, but in Rome do as the Romans do. Will you? On an evening in Roma. Oh yeah.
The beginning has just begun
when the sun goes down. Como bella c'è la luna, brilla strette, strette come tutta bella, passeggiare sotto il cielo di Roma. Don't know what the country's coming to, but in Rome do as the Romans do. Will you? On an evening in Roma, sotto il cielo di Roma, on an evening in Roma. One of these days, I'm gonna get there. I got a good friend of mine, Andrew, and people that don't know it. People from Sicily have long held the nickname Zip, and there's some debate on to where the name came from, but that's what he always was known as. And when we first met each other and we all started hanging out on our little crew there, I said, hey, I can't call you the Zip. So I understand that's your little nickname, but you're Andrew to me, or Andrea. And he goes there quite often, and he's got a couple of businesses over there and family, and I'm so envious of him that, when things get a little cuckoo or he just wants to relax, he can just get on a plane and go to Italy. I mean, wow, he's in Bagheria over in Sicily, and he keeps saying, anytime you want to go, let me know. So maybe now, thanks to St. Francis, I can go with him one day and take a trip there, so that would be cool. And maybe take a little spin over to Roma. I'd love to see that too. The ruins and the Colosseum, and plus, I just want to get to that one traffic circle that everybody spins around at 90 miles an hour, and you got to be like Mario Andretti to get in and out. I want to try that. I want to be in an Alfa Romeo, and I want to do that with the top down. Yeah. I'm not the only one, I don't think. So, so let's do this other song by Mr. Bobby Darin, and this was the follow-up to Mac the Knife, and the name of the movie that they did about him, and very good job. Imagine, I can't remember his name right now. It'll come to me, but he did very good, and it's just a sad story about his life and how he grew up, and he grew up with rheumatic heart fever, and he was told he wasn't going to last too long. He always knew he was going to be dead before he was 50, and it turns out that his sister was really his mother, and his grandmother was his mother, his sister's aunt's cousin. I don't know, whatever. But through it all, he entertained. He loved to entertain. He was born in Harlem, but quickly moved to the Bronx and spent most of his life bouncing in and out of there, and Sandra D and everything else. And, he played 7 instruments, and he could dance and write songs. And they say the song Splish Splash, that he had a big hit with, too, he wrote in less than 7 minutes or something like that. And it's just amazing that he could do that. And then, of course, he got caught up in the whole Kennedy thing. And when Bobby Kennedy got shot, he took it really hard. And he kind of disappeared for a while and grew a beard and long hair. And, he was just kind of lost. He was disillusioned with the world. And knowing, that your end was going to be coming soon. There were many, many times that after he took his bow and the lights went dark and the curtains closed, he was carried back into the back room and on a stretcher and then out into an ambulance to the hospital to get oxygen and rehydrate him and everything. So he was tough, but he's a good. Kevin Spacey, I told you I would get it. Did a good job portraying him. But here's Beyond the Sea. I love this song, and my boy sings this song too. I understand, because he needs a few more cocktails, but. I can sing it sober now, I think. I'll let you know tomorrow. Thank you. Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing somewhere beyond the sea. She's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I go sailing. It's far beyond the stars, it's near beyond the moon. Well, I know beyond a doubt my heart won't leave me there soon. We'll meet beyond the shore and we'll kiss just like before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I go sailing. Well, I know beyond a doubt my heart won't lead me there soon. We'll meet, I know we'll meet beyond that shore, and we'll kiss just like before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I go sailing. No more sailing, so long sailing, bye-bye sailing. Get a new captain, so long, well I'm gone, bye-bye, see ya. Love that tune. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So anyway, I got a name, Spacey, very good, very job, well done. And it's amazing that the songs then, not taking shots at anything, I'm not taking shots at the corporations that do the music today, but the songs then are still alive, I mean, there's, Mac the Knife came out in 59. That is 60 years ago. And it's still strong, and it's still popular, and people love to hear it and snap to it and sing it. And, I just wonder how many songs of today are going to be around in 60 years. I don't feel too good about that. But what are you going to do? I'm going to keep doing this, try to keep them alive. And why I got yous now, it's roughly about 5:30. And don't forget tonight, Mr. Freddie Rubino, get the food out of here. We'll be on at 8 o'clock with his wife, Christine. I don't know what they're cooking tonight, but it's always a fun show. He takes you through every step from the old-time recipes from his family and her family. And, Christine tweaks it to her own, taste, and it's always the best. Taught me some things. Like I said, I consider myself a pretty good cook, chef, whatever you want to call it. And turned me on to quite a few things that I just tweaked. Love that word. And changed it a little bit different. Even something as simple as, I don't know if you saw the picture on my wall the other day, but, I love making eggplant. And sometimes I just grill it, with nothing, just a little olive oil and a little garlic salt. And, it's always good that way, too. But with the crumbs and everything else, and then you put some tomato sauce on top and some mozzarella. And I make a pretty good, pretty mean eggplant lasagna. But it was always soggy, It was great to eat, but it was always soggy once the sauce got on top of it, and it just kind of fell apart. It used to drive me nuts. And so I watched Get the Food Out of Here, and Freddie and Christine say what we got to do is first breadcrumbs, on both sides. Then you dip it in egg, and then you breadcrumb again. And I never did that. I would egg and breadcrumb, and that would be the end of it. And that way. And then I've been baking them now because it's healthier instead of frying them in the oil. And they come out so nice and smooth and not like a hockey puck thick, but thick enough to withstand sauce and the mozzarella on top of it. So I've been begging him. I don't know when he's going to get around to it, but he's getting a Fred. You're getting all this free stuff from me, this free publicity here. I want to know how to make steak pizzaiola. I can't make it. I've tried everything I could think of how to do it. It either comes out the steak is too tough or it's too oily. You gotta do it. You have to do it. Or we're all coming down there and we're gonna close Disneyland and you can't get in Disney World. So 8 o'clock tonight. Look it up, Fred Rubino. You can follow directions on his wall, or you could type in. Not the whole phrase, but get the food out of here. GTFHOH. No. Element of PURSTUVWX. Forget T, the F, food. O, atta, H here. And he cleaned that up because it used to mean something else when he started really picking up speed. He's all over the place now. He was just up in Philly, then he was in upstate New York. He's back down here. Then he's going to be in Jersey. Then he's going down to Boca Raton, and he's giving it all he's got, and he deserves all our support and attention because sometimes his mouth, he always tells his wife, "Shut your mouth," and it's between them. So please don't take it the wrong way. But you got to watch your language, there's people's mothers and grandmothers out there watching you, Rubino. For Christ's sake, unbelievable. So here's a little song by Mr. Gary Lewis and the Playboys. And going all the way back to when I was a kid, I identify with this song because I always had the knack of making people laugh, and I love it. I love to do that. When I get a smile out of somebody or a giggle or a laugh, it makes me feel good inside. But it was a party. We were in 8th grade. All the parties are going on now with the graduation, And there was this one guy, I won't say his name, but he was like the cool Fonzie kind of guy of the whole class. And he invited me to a party he was having. It wasn't a graduation party, though. It was just a regular backyard party, barbecue, pool, this and that. Guys and girls are going to be there and everything. I'm like, yeah, okay. He goes, yeah, you would come? I said, yeah, of course. He goes, all right, good. Make sure you're funny when you get there. I said, what? He goes, well, make sure you're funny. I told everybody how funny you are. And so that's why, it'll be good. You come and you break it up because, parties can get boring. And I was like, wow, you're inviting me, not because I'm fun to be around or because you're inviting me like to be your clown. I didn't like that. And this was long before Goodfellas. What, I'm a clown to you? Tell me how. I'm funny. I make you laugh. But so this was Gary Lewis and the Playboys. Everybody loves a clown. Not that I wanted this guy to love me. Let's get that straight. But it made me think a lot of these girls that, used to follow me around. And I used to think had a crush on me. And I'm thinking, wow, wait a minute. Maybe they just like me because I'm funny, Come on, everybody loves a clown. I don't know. Everybody loves a clown, so why don't you? Everybody laughs at the things that I say and do. They all laugh when they see me coming. You don't laugh, you just go home running. Everybody loves a clown, so why can't you? A clown has feelings too. I joke around at a party when you are there, but you don't laugh, you don't look, you just don't care. If you wonder why this clown is crying, look a little closer inside, I'm dying. It's not easy to be in love, you see, when you're a clown like me. I'm a clown? I don't know how to say that I love you, 'cause you would smile and say, tell a joke or two. Yes, I'm a clown that I don't want to be. Why can't you see the other side of me? Oh, I'll be the guy who plays the part of a clown with a broken heart. Dreaming of your love and not knowing where to start. Dreaming of your love and not knowing where to start. Dreaming of your love and not knowing where to start. Ah, the poor clown. I amuse you, huh? That's amazing how that, that whole movie. But, there were a lot of good lines and there were a lot of good scenes in that movie. And that stands out amongst everybody. Everybody, it still says it. Goodfellas came out a long, long time ago. It's hard to believe, and everybody still does that. Mention the word clown, especially to Italians, and then they got to go into their whole routine. Clown, I'm a clown. What, you think I'm a clown? I make you laugh. Tell me, I'm funny. Funny how? And then you got to play the other part. No, wait, no, But yeah, it still holds today. But that song, it really struck a chord in me back then, and all through my life. And even in work and jobs, sometimes people don't get it, and you like to break the ice, and not that I'm being disrespectful or especially when I was working in the hospital, you're dealing with some really and police officers would certainly understand this, that sometimes you just got to make jokes and just to break the tension, and so you don't turn into concrete, because the doctors and the nurses are dealing with the with the happy endings and the good stories, and but us in the law enforcement side of it and the security end of it inside the hospitals are dealing with the not so nice side of it. So sometimes we just need to make some jokes, and I'm not trying to be a clown, so all right. Except for Snapchat, can't help it. I'm a freaking clown on Snapchat. It's just the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life. How do you could do that? Just like I said, I'm not tech savvy, a genius, but it's just amazing to me. The one thing where you do the baby picture is unbelievable, and then when you do the, I guess we're keeping current with the world, with your gender choice. I did a picture. I think I put it on Facebook, and I be honest with you, I couldn't tell it was me. Blonde hair, they had the makeup in the right place and everything else, and sent it to my father, and Chris is showing him on the phone. He's like, "Wow, she's pretty. Who is that?" That's your son. What? That's not my son. What the hell's the matter with you? She goes, that's your son. It's something he does on with the phone. That ain't my son. My son don't have blonde hair and makeup on, and wouldn't believe it until I had to go and show him. And he was like, "Why?" I said, "Why what? Why would you do things like that?" And then I did one of him, and he was like hysterical laughing, and I did a baby picture of him. But the thing that really got me is I took the baby thing of myself, and it was my son. It was unbelievable. It was, 97%, 98% my son when he was a baby. And then I did one of my father, and I saw my son in him, and I saw myself in him. So, that part was very, very cool. So if you don't have Snapchat, get it. It's a lot of fun. And, with the pictures and this and that and dogs and dog faces and tongues hanging out of your mouth and aliens taking you away. And that's the break I'm talking about in life that we all need once in a while. None of us are that intense that we're not allowed to laugh, or we can't laugh, or get a little silly once in a while. That's what keeps us young, all right? I'm 82 years old, and I know I don't look it. So here's hoping this last song is, I'm hoping everybody finds this love that Mr. Johnny Mathis had. Let me phrase that. I hope everybody finds the love that Mr. Johnny Mathis sang about in this song, The 12th of Never. It's one of the most beautiful love songs ever written. It's really gets you right in the heart. It's down to earth. This guy or girl could be telling a guy, and he's saying, this is how much I love you. You're doubting how much I love you. Let me tell you. Let me explain it to you. And you go, you walk away from this song going, wow, yeah, that's deep. So it's called The 12th of Never. And make sure I didn't forget anything. We talked about Alamo. Next, I guess I'll do it tomorrow night. My very good friend, Billy Alamo, his nephew, was in a horrific car accident a couple of weeks ago, airlifted to the hospital in Stony Brook, touch and go, and it's it's a whole horror story. They had just moved out of their apartment, and they were going to move into another one, and now they have nowhere to live, and the wife and the kids. It's the whole horror story, and they got a GoFundMe going. So I'll give you all the information tomorrow, and then I'm going to put it up on my wall, and whatever you could do. Every little bit, help this family as he battles, not only for his health, but as he battles for his life. And Billy Alamo is a very good friend of mine for a long time. He used to be a wrestler, professional wrestler, and he used to go by the name of Lucifer, which I didn't like. He could have picked a different name than Lucifer. But, yeah, very good, and introduced me to a lot of guys he used to wrestle with. And one guy, Billy, I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. But the guy was like 8, 6'10", big, gigantic black guy. And, Billy brings me over. I want you to meet Sonny. And he goes, "Oh, so you're Sonny?" And I said, yeah, why? One hand he picks me up, and it lifts me up over his head. I'm like, oh, my God. So tell me how you would, he goes, so tell me why he's holding me in the air, how you were telling Lucifer over here that wrestling is fake. I didn't say it. Please put me down. Because if you don't, you're going to be covered in stuff, if you know what I mean. So Billy, we'll do that. We'll get it up. And, knowing all the people that I know out there and how, big-hearted they are. And I'm sure, we'll help you as much as we can. So, and we do that tomorrow. And Mr. Trump, President Trump, and Melania over in England having dinner with the Queen of England. Pretty cool. So, okay. So, last thing, I'm very sorry. Yesterday, which I thought was tomorrow, but yesterday was World Cancer Day. I am a 2-time survivor. The last time with the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and, gone through all the chemo and the radiation, and it was, it was not fun. So it's good to celebrate that. And so if you know somebody that has fought cancer and won, give them send them a text, give them a call, take them out to dinner, and just, let them know how glad you are that they're still here. And I think because of how dark it is, there's not a World Cancer Didn't Survive Day, which I agree with. But, it's good to celebrate all the survivors. I remember when I was going into the cancer center, and I said to the doctor, I said, this place is like jammed. There's people, there's lines, people everywhere. What's going on? And I said, what's the matter? Are more and more people coming down with cancer? And he said, no. More and more people are living. I was like, wow. That was like, hit me right between the eyes. That was a nice thing to hear. And of course, I kicked its ass. So anyway, thanks. So 12th of Never, Mr. Johnny Mathis. Love this song. You ask how much I need you. Must I explain? I need you, oh, my darling, like roses need rain. You ask how long I'll love you, I'll tell you true, until the 12th of never, I'll still be loving you. Hold me close, never let me go. Hold me close, melt my heart like April snow. I love you till the bluebells forget to bloom. I love you till the clover has lost its perfume. I love you till the poets run out of rhyme, until the 12th of never, and that's a long, long time, until the 12th of never, and that's a long, long time. I think Donnie had a hit with this too. Donnie till the 12th of never. Man, it's not even such time as that. That's how long it's going to be. So, all right, everybody, hope you had a good day. Hope you have a good week. We had good weather coming up here, at least in the New York area. Sonny, my son, is on vacation with his sweetheart and the kids in somewhere in Orlando, and he'll be home soon. He talked to me on Thursday. Dad, I'm going to go away for a couple of days, a little vacation. And good, you earned it. He works hard as the golf pro down there. And he goes, but I'll call you over the weekend. He didn't say what weekend because it's now Monday and I didn't hear from him. So, yeah. They're not too old to get a beating, if you know what I mean. So thank you. I love you all. Thank you for all the support and all the kind words. And that's it. We always got to end it with the magic 3-letter word. BAM. I will see you all tomorrow.